In this lesson, we're going to take a look at quickly modeling some books, and hopefully this will start to help you fill up your scene with some decent models, just to make it add a little bit of realism. You'll see from the main scene, got a few books knocking around, a couple of vases and stuff like that, which you can show as well. Just little extra bits always help to add that extra element of realism. So we just created a box just for a general size, and what I'm going to do is I'll create a spline, just a rectangular spline. Sorry, I've got renderable switched on. We'll turn that off and we'll just drag it over to here. Collapse to an editable spline, and we will add in a couple of verts using the refine tool. We'll add in a couple more, and we'll drag these in just to give a little bit of shape, and we'll fillet this edge. We'll fillet both of these just to give it a bit of a curve, and we will just pull those out. That gives us a bookish shape, if that makes any sense. The first thing I'm going to do is clone this, and you'll see why in a second, because with the clone I'm going to delete this edge, and we'll go into perspective, and we'll use the extrude modifier. I'll put this up to 400, same height as the box, and that gives us our book cover, which we can then shell. We'll put an outer amount on it of 3 mil. What we can do is, you can see we've got some overlap in there, so we can go back into our splines and we'll stick this on, and we just need to pull this away a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just shell it a little bit less. We'll just pull that forward. There we go. We'll just pull that forward a touch, and then we can pull these ones back out a little bit more. And we'll pull these up, and we'll delete that central one, and we'll clone this one again just to make up for that one that we've deleted. So we have our basic book cover, and then our cloned one in the center. We can get rid of the shell modifier and the editable spline. We'll go into vertex mode, and we'll hit connect and just click on this and drag it to the other spline just to fill that gap in, and then we'll extrude that as well, and that gives us our pages. So what we can then do is we can add an edit poly to this and just click and drag the edges up by a mil or two, 1.5 mil. Minus 1.5, and we'll go 1.5 that way. And then in the center of here, we've got to connect through the center, 2 connects, and then slide them up to keep those nice sharp edges at the top. And we'll just do that twice. And then the same thing through the center this way. We'll just pull that back a little bit, and we'll do that twice too. Then you should be able to turbo smooth your book cover and get nice nice smooth edges. And then obviously when we texture it, we'll just be putting pages on here, and then we'll be going through. And the idea with this is then I can just copy this, just copy it whether it's an instance or anything like that, and then I can just drag it around, scale it. And you know, even if I make it thinner, oh sorry, I've only selected the center. I can drag this, and I can just scale these any way I want, just to make different size books and different shape books for the scene. Make them a bit thinner. If you scale them down and make them a bit thinner, obviously it scales down your shell modifier, but that's fine. You can just add more thickness in that way, and you're sorted. So there's some books, and what we'll also do is just show you. I know there was I mentioned a couple of vases on the unit here. So that's just using the simple lathe modifier like we had before. It's just drawing a spline and just coming around. Oh, actually, I've got smooth on. Don't want to do that. I'll put corner. So it's just drawing a spline. I believe these ones were quite an interesting shape at the bottom. And it's just going in and drawing a spline like that. I'll move some of this around. And we'll delete this top one. So what we can do is we can grab all this selection once we've done that, and we can use the outline tool, and we can give it a thickness, so 2 mil. That then gives us a thickness of our vase, and we can delete this little central piece and make sure these two are lined up. In fact, we can grab these verts up here, and we can give it some thickness, and that way we can use the fog value to add a little bit more realism into our materials once we get onto that point with the glass for this vase. But for now, we'll just pull that up. It just adds a little bit of extra realism again, just by pulling this in and making it go a little bit thicker at the bottom. We'll set our pivot point to the center of this, and we will stick a lathe modifier on it. And we'll stick a turbo smooth. Now with the turbo smooth, you can see it's pulling it all in, which is what we don't want. So in our line, we can just use this as if we are creating polys. So where we would normally grab that and put a loop through it or anything like that, just to tighten these up, we can just add a few verts in like that. That just tightens your edges up. And anything that we don't need, like this, that vert's probably not needed. We can drag these around. We could maybe add one in there just to help this curve off a little bit better. It looks a little bit sharp. And we can do the same thing here. We can pull these verts back in to straighten this up. And we'll do the same thing this side, just pull it in. Don't need to worry too much about the inside, just these outside ones that we would definitely want to be straight. Refine, and we'll pull these down, just so it creates a nice flat top. And then the same thing in here, refine. And now when we lathe it and turbo smooth it, we've kept our nice sharp edges that we wanted. And that's just a couple of simple ways of creating extra assets just to fill up your room. You know, you can just look for reference images online and just draw over it with splines to create simple vases and glasses and things like that. And it just really helps add that little bit extra.